Hey everybody, this is Jarrod again with Cognigy here for CX Disruptors. I am very excited today to have, I hope an old friend isn't a little bit too, exaggerated, but I've got Darren from Cloud Tech Gurus, who's a managing partner. He's dealt with contact center tech for a very long time, and not just one area of it. So I'm really excited to bug him today with a couple of questions. You want to introduce yourself?
Certainly, Jared, good to be on. A lot of people call me old. Not everyone called me friend, so I appreciate
Uh,
that. Um, Great to be on with you. I'm Darren Prine, the managing partner for Cloud Tech Gurus, and glad to be on with you. This is going to be fun.
All right, well, let's jump right in it in the interest of time.
All right.
We'll hit you with the big one. So one thing that I know I'm seeing, I think you are as well, is this convergence of a lot of different solutions in the market. So you see CCaaS, CPaaS, CRM, digital experience, digital engagement, conversational AI. Uh, and they all had a core competency, and yet many of them, even if you just look at their websites, are all developing the features of their competitors, which essentially is making a lot of them nearly indistinguishable from
Hmm.
each other. Salesforce has CCaaS, for example, and AI and ticketing. Or what's the difference with Zendesk or
Yeah.
Genesis? Um,
Hmm.
can you maybe tell us a little bit why you think this is happening, just right off the bat?
Yeah. Well, to some extent, back in the beginning, I remember in the beginning when CRMs were CRMs,
Yeah,
enterprise contact center platforms were that, and
yeah,
everyone had their place. And ultimately, there was too many different systems people were having to use, and
yeah,
it got to be problematic. They had their CRM, they had the call center platform, they had all these different systems that, yeah, that they had to try to get to integrate and work together. And eventually, people started creating unified systems, and that was good, and is good. It's great that if you have a cloud contact center platform, and it also has, for example, the gamification built in, the
yeah,
WFM built in, all these things built in. Well, that's great for the customer because it's less separate systems. They have it in one unified
yeah,
system. It's already all integrated. It all works well together. But there's negatives to it too, and
yeah,
I think we're going beyond what it was meant to accomplish when people originally were trying to create unified systems. Because you might remember when there was voice systems, and then
yeah,
you had different systems for chat and
yeah,
email and other things. Everything was separate. But I like that you said core competency, and that's something
yeah,
I think about a lot
exactly.
because everybody has a core competency. There's something they do really, really well. Now, while they can do other things, it's not their core competency. It's not what they're going to do really, really well. So when you go to a show and you see UCaaS providers and all the CCaaS providers now, and all of them have ChatGPT, generative AI in their signs and banners, and we do conversational AI too. We do
Yeah,
virtual AI assist. Everyone wants to do everything, but the fact is, I haven't seen a CCaaS provider that can provide conversational AI, which now is always incorporated in some manner with the generative AI, but I haven't
yeah,
seen one that can do it as well. If I'm working with a major hotelier or any kind of large enterprise and they want to automate as much of their customer care as possible, I'm not taking that to a CCAS that claims they provide AI too. One
yeah.
exception is Sprinkler. Sprinkler can kind of do everything really well. But in general, no, you want an AI provider that only does that and stays in their lane. They're going to do it better than a CCAS. And likewise, uh, I'm sorry to Zendesk and Salesforce and all the other CRM ticketing systems that want to make money being the call center platform too.
Yeah.
They don't do it as well as an enterprise call center platform like
No.
Genesis or 3.0 or a SingleCom or any of the others out there. It's just, so to one extent it's good. You want less. I keep forgetting the word for it. It starts with the D. Separate systems.
I, I
You
I
you
wonder if it is good though, because like if I'm Salesforce or Zendesk or whoever it is, and it's not to call anybody specific out, and I'm starting to invest in like, lowest common denominator MVP
Hmm.
ticketing or CRM or some sort of AI, or whatever it is. Like I'm diverting resources from the thing I do best, which means I'm not going to do this new thing probably that great. And I'm now
Yes.
going to not do my core competency as well because I'm not going to be investing in it.
Yep.
Am I missing
That's
something, or
correct.
what's the
No,
strategy behind
that
this?
that is it. It's hard enough to keep from just eventually falling behind,
Yep.
because there's new companies coming out with newer tech and newer infrastructure and interwoven with AI and RPA and everything else. And how do you stay relevant? How do you stay at the top? How do you stay being the best, right? Let alone you're going to try to jump in and be good at other companies' core competencies.
Playing right
Doesn't
into
make sense
divide
to
and
me.
conquer almost, right?
Yeah. So a lot of it's greed. On one hand, yeah, if you can create situations where there's less disparate systems for the customer,
Yeah.
that is good. But a lot of it plays into greed. Oh, we need to make money on that call center side too.
Yeah.
We need to make money on the AI side, and
Let's
so it's not always good for the end customer, I think.
That's what I was going to say. So let's flip this. We've talked a little bit about kind of the market side of it, but I'm wondering, as a buyer, right? So I'm sitting there,
Hmm.
I'm chief customer experience officer, tech officer, CIO, whatever it is, and I need to buy, right? And yet I see all of these different major players all trying to end up in the exact same place.
Hmm.
How do I go about deciding, in terms of procurement, what to pick nowadays, if in 2 years they're all the
Yeah.
same anyway, and they're all equally
Yeah.
watered down?
Yeah.
Is best of breed still what they should aim for, or should they maybe go for a platform? I mean, what do you tell them?
Well, there's benefits. So, for instance, I have some CCASs that have built out WFM. Now,
Yeah,
it's not something where if I have a large enterprise that says, hey, we need help sourcing WFM, I'm not going to go to that CCAS. But if I have a client that really loves their CCAS and their WFM is good enough, if it's going to get them by and they're fine with it, then great. They have less disparate systems. Um, so, that's the scenario where, for instance, performance management solutions or providers, they have a suite of performance solutions, gamification,
yeah,
LMS, this, that, and the other, right? And more often than not, there isn't a particular module in their suite where they do it better than someone that only does that. So for instance, now with simulation-based learning, immersive learning, and simulation-based training, boy, that's going to be better than pretty much the
yeah.
LMS that you get in a performance management suite. But we have people that look at these suites and they look at the gamification and all the other things that come with it, the QA. And if it works for them, it's a suite that has all of these components for, 20 to 40 bucks a month per agent, sometimes less.
Yeah.
And when you keep that in mind, if that's going to work, the pricing certainly works.
Yeah.
If that package will work, then great. And maybe it's okay if none of the components are particularly as good as what you could get if you bought them kind of one at a time. But
So
so that
maybe
happens.
I was gonna say, so if I'm summarizing you correctly, and obviously you can
Yeah.
correct me, it seems
Yeah.
like it's not necessarily a bad thing, but now the differentiating factor is rather going to be company size, that you're going to see, say, smaller and medium-sized companies say, yeah, you know what, I'm going to go with a platform X that does everything okay and one thing well, because that's good enough.
Hmm.
But on the enterprise
Yep.
level, you're probably still going to stay best of breed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I'm the CEO of a major enterprise, I'm going to probably buy all best of breed components
Yeah.
and just make sure that I get everything to work, play together well, integrate,
And if it
and make
doesn't,
sure
it's
I'm
not
able to
competitive
take
in
the
the first
data.
place.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, nowadays they're all supposed to be. I mean, I see a different future for technology companies, in that, or not for technology companies, but for brands, which is get really, really great at moving to new technologies, at integrating various technologies.
Yeah.
I mean, all the vendors have made it pretty easy with REST APIs and everything else to integrate together. But I think brands need to get really great at it too, because nowadays with technology still growing like that, evolving at such a rapid rate, I think what best serves brands is get really good at being able to swap out. You know what? This was best of breed, and this company was ahead of everybody 5 years ago, but now there's newer tech that does it even better.
Yeah.
And to be rotating out be able to use what tech is going to be best for your company and be able to rotate it out whenever you need to because there's something that's so much better. I think that is a great goal that nobody
Yeah.
strives for.
It's that agility, but I wanted to jump in here actually with question number 3 because you're sort of
Uh-huh.
implying it is that
Uh-huh.
what is this kind of this innovation, all of these different changes, what does that mean for vendor loyalty, right? Like we have this classic, we're a Cisco shop, we're an Avaya shop, we're a Salesforce,
Yeah.
workplace, whatever. Um, is that going to change significantly? Is that going to disappear completely?
Well, I think it should disappear completely, but it won't. And it won't because as long as there's teams of people in different companies that have gotten familiar with, let's just say
Yeah.
Avaya. Oh, we're an Avaya shop, and they maybe they have on-prem, maybe they have Avaya Cloud, but they're an Avaya shop. Their whole teams know how to use it. Uh, Except for people that actually are at the highest level in a company, the IT managers don't want to switch to a new system.
Even though that should
People
be
don't
their
want to get.
goal, apparently.
It should be right from the top down. It should be. It should be their goal, but they're familiar with it. And I'll give you an example. There was a major transportation company when I early on in my career when I was selling CCAS. And back then it wasn't called cloud contact center platforms, it was hosted.
Yeah.
So I called in this major transportation company and have you guys thought about or are you thinking about talking about hosted solutions? And we talked about some of the benefits. And he said, oh, we got 3 call centers, we do 20 million calls a year, we're an Avaya shop, we have Avaya equipment at each site, teams of people that manage that equipment. We have no interest at all in a hosted system. So then
Sunken
something
cost
happened
fallacy
that,
right there, right?
but here's the interesting part. I'm like, all right, well, that's done. I'm in too early in this business where it hasn't
Okay.
really been adopted yet, right? 6 months later, I come back from lunch and my phone rings, and it's that call center director.
Oh,
He says, we decided we're in the transportation business, and managing expensive equipment is not our core competency.
hmm.
Transportation is. We've decided we want to move completely to a hosted solution. How did
Very
that
nice.
happen? That happened because that guy was perfectly happy with staying with Avaya forever and Avaya on-prem.
Yeah.
Somebody much higher up the chain said, no, this doesn't make sense. This isn't what's best for our business.
Yeah.
These expenses and the teams of people, we need to fix this. We need to move to what's now the cloud. So, and I think that's kind of what I don't think it serves the company. We're an Avaya shop. We're a nice in contact shop. No, be a company that's agile and
Yeah,
flexible
it's
and
it's
as
dogma, right? I mean, it's okay. With that, we're going to be short on time, so I'm going to hit you with something else you've talked
oh,
about
all
before,
right,
but it's going to feel like we're jumping. So generative AI, you've
okay,
mentioned that a couple times, and I think it's a requirement
hmm
for every interview nowadays for the next 6 months
yes,
across LinkedIn. Um, Everybody's talking about it, but I don't hear much about the internal use cases, right? I hear a lot about customer facing. Oh, how cool it is. ChatGPT, obviously,
hmm
right?
right.
But I'm not hearing a lot about the impact it could have on the agent facing side. Do you think that will be bigger, or do you think it'll be more important maybe than the customer facing, or
I
what do you
think they're
think?
equally important. From a business point, right now, it's like the world started anew in third quarter of last year, right? So
Yeah.
before that, a conversational AI, maybe 10 to 30% of interactions could be automated by AI in a good manner, in a way that customers didn't hate it. And the CSAT was good on the AI
Yep.
interactions and all. And then, and then ChatGPT came along and that kind of changed things. Now we're seeing situations where the AI can handle a high percentage of interactions, like
Oh yeah.
almost all the tier 1 and maybe even some tier 2, and it reduces the labor costs by quite a bit and no queue time. And if it's done well, if it's very intelligent AI, the customers love it too. So right now, I think that a lot of people don't know because we all experience bad AI every day in our personal lives, where it's not helping us. We can't ask it a question and it just talks to us like we're talking right now and solves for our problem very quickly. We're used to getting bad AI from the companies we do business with, and so
Mhm.
a lot of people don't know it's possible, but it is. I mean, you can have book whole flights with dogs barking and babies crying, and interruptions and all these
Oh
things.
yeah.
And the AI is not even thrown off. It's amazing, as you know.
Yeah.
So that's good for the customer because, ending up at an offshore BPO isn't always what's best for the customer. I've canceled accounts that
Yeah.
I've had with credit card companies and stuff because, all right, that's too frustrating for me. Had I had a good AI, that would have been great. I would have gone out of my way to give it a good score and rating.
Yeah.
So it's great for the customer. Now, on the agent side, equally big things are at play. The real-time agent guidance or real-time
Yeah.
agent assist, it turns an agent into Iron Man. The
Ooh.
agent is now Tony Stark, and the AI is Jarvis, guiding he or she
Yeah.
through the interactions, pulling up data at their fingertips as the conversation's happening. It's exactly that Iron Man example there.
It's
And agents are less likely to quit when they feel like they're doing a great job. I'm getting on and I'm really able to help people. Not only that, I'm helping them very quickly.
yeah.
And they all seem thrilled with me. I'm like super agent now
Yeah.
with this AI brain behind me. The agents are they're gonna perform better. They're gonna feel better about their job. There's going to be less attrition. And for the customer, again, they're getting it. No more. Can you hold for 5 minutes while I look that up? You know,
It's
it's
amazing
brilliant.
that's still a thing. I actually had that this morning, trying to call
Did you
the
really?
post office. It's terrible. Just to get
Frustrating.
transferred, of course.
Yeah, of course, and then
Of
start
course.
again because they don't know your history when you get transferred. So
Well,
this is game changer for the
yeah.
agents. They don't have to write notes anymore at the end of an interaction.
No, the
AI
AI
does
can
it
do all
for them.
the after call work. I mean, you can
Yeah,
easily feed the whole thing into, an LLM. It'll summarize everything, drop it into a Salesforce, ticket case, notes, whatever, however you're doing it, and boom, it's already
yeah.
gone. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you'll agree with me. AI Agent Assist is a no-brainer for just about every call center. You're paying for it
Yeah.
now without the benefits.
Yeah.
The ROI is amazing. What it does, it shortens interactions. You could reduce your training times with new agents. It's just mind-blowing how good it is,
Well, I
and
look at it
it
this
pays
way:
for
is
itself.
it pays for itself if you use it, and it costs you if you don't use it. So better to pay for it and
Yep.
get it than pay
Yeah.
for it in, agent turnover, bad KPIs, lost revenue. Why not
Absolutely.
take the beneficial road? Okay, I've got to hit you with one final and very fast question.
Yeah. Go
Um,
ahead.
all this great AI, even the agent assist, what's required? Like, what do you actually, if anything, need to have in place in your contact center? In terms of, say, maturity, infrastructure, to be able to do this? Because I think everybody would like to, but
Hmm.
most people think
Hmm.
they can't.
Right. And that's a falsehood, but yeah, people do believe that. The first step one, you can't be a do-it-yourselfer with generative AI or AI in general. A lot of people remember when Twilio first came on the scene in Amazon Connect. Oh, I'm going to build my own platform on Amazon Connect. And then after they spent $2 million on that with developers, hey, I think we should just move to a cloud contact center platform that already has all this built
Yeah.
out. And with AI and generative AI in particular, you can't build it yourself. You need to go to a pro. And a company that already was providing conversational AI, well, they already understand the model really, really well. And they're able to take generative AI and essentially put on those guardrails so that you're not going to have hallucinations. You're not going to have your AI going off track and giving someone diet advice.
Yeah.
It's going to stay on the data that it's trained on, and it's going to do it well. It's going to do it conversationally. It's going to blow people's minds how good it
Yeah.
is and how capable it is. You need to find a company where their core competency has been AI, and they've incorporated generative AI, and now they're even better than they ever were before. We've even seen cases where in tier one it handles up to 80% of
Yeah.
interactions. Now that's just one client, but
But so
it's
in
just
terms of
crazy stuff.
requirements, though, are you saying so they should have conversational AI or anything else?
So what I'm saying is that the end client should go with the company.
Yeah.
We've got some favorites, and
Yeah.
I know you do. So go with
What?
the
I
company
don't know
where
what you
that's
mean.
what they do. That's their core competency. And if
Yeah.
that's the case, they're also going to excel in integrating with just about any CCaaS
Yep.
provider out there. And
Or
even if
on-prem.
you're or on-prem, even if some of the data from that's going into, let's say, a homegrown CRM, nowadays companies are great at doing. We can integrate with homegrown CRMs,
Yeah.
homegrown applications, CCASs. They're going to be good at that. Their team will be able to handle that piece for you.
Okay.
So
So there's
that's
not
not
a lot
even really
holding
a
people
concern so
back.
much.
There's not a lot, is there?
It's mindset. It's
Uh,
most people thinking that that's going to be too expensive, or it's not really developed to a point where that's usable for us yet. It's really that companies should be doing more investigation, more vetting, and if they do vet out conversational AI, if they vet out AI agent assist, RPA is another one. But if they
Yep.
take the time to vet it out, they'll see that it's available now. It works well now. It impacts their business, their customers, their agents right now. And they should be spending a lot of time investigating it, vetting it out, and they'll be surprised by what they see.
Or maybe they're hiding it because if the agents knew all of the benefits, how easy it is with just agent assist, like they'll have the pitchforks and the torches, and they'll be headed to like the CTO's door or the CIO saying, "Hey, buy this now."
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? If agents knew that conversational AI, because a lot of agents get bonuses based on a sale, if they
Yeah,
upgrade or if they sell
yeah,
this
yeah.
product, whatever. And that's what they want all day is those calls where they can get that extra bonus for selling something. But they have all that repetitious stuff that they hate that makes them want to bang their head on the desk. AI can handle that, and they could focus on the stuff where they get extra pay, commissions, bonuses.
Mm,
The stuff that requires a little more intelligence and requires their
yep.
unique skill set. Um, if they knew that, they'd be scrambling to get their companies to adopt conversational too. But definitely AI agent assist. That they want to be Iron Man. They want to be
Yeah.
super
Oh,
agents and breezing through every interaction like a superhero. Who doesn't want that?
that's true. So okay, yeah, I'm just gonna thank you for the interview today, but I guess maybe we'll see you, as a revolutionary somewhere in the streets with the agents,
Yes.
storming the sea-level Bastille or something to get more agent assist.
Yes, I will find a superhero costume and I'll be joining the agents in the fight.
Okay, I'm gonna hold you to that. I'm gonna want to see video evidence of you in a superhero costume, just for the world to know.
That sounds good. Well, this is fun. I
All
appreciate
right,
you spending time with me today.
all right. Thank you, Darren.
Cheers. Take care.
Bye.